Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a little bit shorter than the ones that you're used to seeing on my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nathan Alon. I used to advise companies on how to allocate finances and took an interest in personal finance while I was in that job. In any case, one of the most fascinating credits that you'll see in the tax system is the earned income tax credit. And don't just take it from me. I'm going to play a clip here from Warren Buffett, who, if you all don't know, is maybe the world's most famous investor alive today.
I think the earned income tax credit is the best way to put money in the pockets of people that don't fit well into the market system, but that are perfectly decent citizens and that have made a good bit of the success somebody like I've had with Berkshire or something possible. It wouldn't have happened without the America we have.
The earned income tax credit is a clear and distinctive way with which wealth distribution actually makes a lot of sense. And it's really difficult for any party or partisan group to not realize that. And so let's go into how this earned income tax credit is actually calculated, and more importantly, how it kind of functions and helps you on your taxes. So the biggest thing to know about the earned income tax credit is it really has a couple of unique factors which actually drives its usefulness. Number one, you have to calculate the earned income tax credit based on the income that you make in a year. Number two, the number of children that you have actually makes a big difference in how much money you get back in terms of a tax credit. And number three, while I'm not going to show this in the animation, the amount that you receive differs depending on your filing status. Specifically, if you're married filing jointly, the amount that you'll get as a credit is different than if you are in an unmarried status group. Those who are filing married filing separately usually will not be able to qualify for the earned income tax credit unless you did not live with your spouse for 6 months, or you got legally separated at some point during the year and are at the end of the calendar year not living with your spouse. To illustrate how interesting the earned income tax credit is, let's use me as an example. I'm single and I don't have any kids. Now, next year, I don't really know where my earnings are gonna land, but say if it's anywhere from $0 to $8,490, I get back 7.6 cents per dollar that I make as a tax credit. And you can see here how basically for every dollar that I make, my tax credit continues to go up. At $8,490, that amount starts to plateau. I'm not gonna get any more of a tax credit. At this point, my tax credit is $649. This plateau of $649 sits all the way until I made $10,620. Now, the phase out happens at $10,620 as well. So for every dollar I make of $10,620, my credit is reduced by 7.6 cents, exactly the same as the credit I gained when you saw my credits go up. Because of this, you'll see your credits end up phasing out at $19,104. But what is the cool thing about this curve? Well, there's a couple of pretty neat things. One, for every dollar that I make, it's pretty neat. I get a tax credit back up to a certain point. At that point, then my credit kind of stabilizes. And then after that point, as it starts to phase out, every dollar that comes to me, it's actually still useful. It's worth it because the dollar that I'm making is more than whatever credit I'm losing. And so the offset is 100% worthwhile for me to go after. But the calculus actually becomes a lot more favorable if you even have one child. So let's look at the same curve as if I have one kid. If I have one kid, my credits actually go up a bunch. For every dollar that I make, I get roughly 33.3 cents back per dollar, all the way up until $12,730. This leads to a $4,328 maximum credit. Again, we hit the same plateau. This plateau extends to $23,350, at which point, again, my credit starts to phase out. The phase out here happens at a rate of roughly 16 cents per dollar made. So what you see is a much less aggressive phase out than a single person with no children. Basically what this means is this tax credit lasts until you make $50,434, which is honestly super favorable. Now, this continues to scale as you have 2 and 3 kids, albeit not as aggressively. 3 kids is kind of the maximum for EITC, at least in its current state. Now, we're gonna draw the curves for 2 and 3 and more children simultaneously. As you all can see, as we're drawing these curves, they are a step up from the 1-child curve. If you have 2 children, you get 40 cents back as a tax credit for every dollar you earn. Whereas if you have 3 or more children, you get 45 cents back for every dollar that you earn. This continues until the plateau point of $17,880. Note that the plateau point is actually the same for both the 2-child curve and the 3 or more child curve, but the max credit amount is different. For the 2-child curve, it's $7,152. And if you have 3 or more children, it's $8,046. Now, the plateau actually also ends at the same point for both 2 children and 3 or more children. That plateau end is $23,350. And the credit actually also disappears at the same rate, which is 21 cents per dollar made beyond the plateau limit. What this means is the phase-out point differs if you have 2 children or 3 or more children. If you have 2 children, the phase-out point is $57,310. If you have 3 or more children, that phase-out point becomes $61,555. With that being said, y'all, you can see there's a great reason why the earned income tax credit is an excellent way to see and promote wealth redistribution in the US, and has honestly great bipartisan support, which is, especially on fiscal issues, something that's really, really hard to come by. So at least in my opinion, it'll be a pillar of our fiscal policy going forward. With that being said, we're going to continue our series here on taxes, and we'll catch you in a video next week. Thanks, y'all.